Did anyone ever told you in order to be happy, you must be grateful? Or start your day with being grateful, and the first thing you do is name 3 things that you're grateful for. Or no matter what happens in life, everything happens for a reason. Or for instance, you will grow from everything. Every failure you will grow from. So you should not see it as a failure or any other positive affirmations that actually do the same thing. You are feeling bad from inside, but you are trying to reverse that feeling by saying something positive. And let me explain to you why this does not work. Even though it's a positive thing, and even though positive affirmations can work very well, there's one thing that needs to be understood, and that is this. All suffering is created by resistance. And when you feel bad, the first thing you should do is accept that you feel bad. Because the opposite of suffering is acceptance. And all healing comes from acceptance. So anything, the opposite of resistance is acceptance. So anything that you resist will persist. In the first place, you gotta understand that when somebody tells you you should be grateful in the morning, you should tell yourself to be grateful. This only occurs in one's mind when that person feels miserable. Think about it. When you feel grateful, because feeling grateful, as we say, feeling grateful is a feeling. When you truly feel grateful, and you have those days, because all of us, we all have those days, that you just realize that, hey, I'm so happy, I'm feeling so well, I'm so joyful, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for the dog, I'm grateful for literally nothing. You can be grateful for the fact that you can drink water. When you feel happy, you will have these moments that you'll be like, I feel so good, and I'm just so grateful. I don't know for what, for no reason at all, but I just feel grateful. Because grateful is a feeling. Being grateful is a feeling. Only when you feel miserable, you will think, I should be grateful, isn't it? I live in this country. I'm healthy. I have a roof above my head. I have a job. I have friends. I have family. I have all these things. And there's so many people in the world that have nothing. So I should not be allowed to feel miserable. This is what essentially is happening. We live in an era where you're not allowed to feel miserable. Everybody should be happy, happy, happy. And when you feel miserable, you start talking all kinds of positive affirmations to make you feel better. But in the essence, what you are doing is you are resisting the way you actually feel. And when you resist the way you actually feel, you will see this will only maintain longer, because whatever you resist persists. And this is not just a beautiful phrase or just a funny quote. This is actually one of the few that's actually true. Because if you look at it, let's say you are sitting somewhere in a bar and somebody sneaks up behind you and that person scares you. He says, "Boo!" and you shock. And then in that moment, you will feel fear, right? You will feel the emotion we call fear. But what is happening essentially is this is a chemical reaction that happens within you. This is what we call fear. This feeling that you experience is fundamentally a chemical reaction. This chemical reaction, within a few moments, it will disappear, and the feeling of fear will disappear with it. Unless you resist it. Unless in your mind, you are telling yourself, he might come back. He might come back. He might scare me again. Oh, I don't trust that guy. He might seriously hurt me. When you start to do this, the feeling, the emotion of fear, the chemical reaction of fear will maintain in your body. Because you're resisting it, you're persisting it. The same thing happens, the exact same thing happens when you resist the way you feel. So when you feel miserable, let's say you wake up in the morning and you feel miserable, instead of resisting it, by saying all kinds of positive things. Because even though these things are positive, it is resistance. So because when I feel miserable, instead of just accepting and recognizing, hey, this is the way I feel, and I'm okay with it. It's okay. I'm allowed to feel bad. There's no one judging me because I feel bad. I do not need to judge myself because I feel bad. If you start to see this, then you will see this chemical reaction that creates that emotion that makes you feel bad. It will slowly but surely disappear. It will actually disappear quite fast. As long as you do not resist it, that negative feeling, that feeling of stress, depression, whatever most people feel in the morning, it will disappear. But as soon as you start to resist that feeling, it will maintain, and it can maintain for days, and it can even become chronic. And one of the things that happens is people will start to tell themselves, you know, I'm so grateful. So they feel like I'm not allowed to feel miserable because I should be grateful. So they start naming every day, start your day with naming 3 things you're grateful of. And then there they are, with a miserable face and a miserable heart. I'm so grateful because I have a house, and I'm grateful that I have school, I can go to school, and I'm grateful that I have a job. You're telling yourself you're grateful, but you're feeling miserable. This is a conflict. You're telling yourself you're grateful, but you're feeling miserable. This means you're lying to yourself. But more importantly, besides that, you are resisting the way you actually feel, and therefore, you're gonna persist. It's gonna persist. Because you're resisting this, you're not allowing it to disappear. Because when you recognize how you feel, then you accept how you feel, and then you can let go of how you feel. This is actually an automatic process. When acceptance comes, letting go is an automatic result of that. So the first thing that you can actually do is, instead of resisting it, even though the intent is positive, I understand that. Even though these positive affirmations and all this grateful attitude, it's something that it's meant to be very positive. It just doesn't work like that. So the first thing you do, you recognize it. You just recognize it. You tell yourself, hey, this is how I feel, and it doesn't feel well, but it's okay. I'm allowed to feel like this. And then you start accepting it. And when you start to accept it, you'll see it will disappear. It will automatically disappear, that feeling. You will start automatically feel better. And something that will help is when you just sit down and take your time. Don't rush into it like, okay, I'm allowed to feel like this. It's okay, I accept it, and it's gone. No, it will not happen like that. Just take a few minutes, sit down, do some breathing, you know. Just consciously breathe a couple times, very deeply in and out, and then start to tell yourself it's okay. You recognize it, you accept it, and then it will automatically let go. As long as you resist it, this feeling will maintain. So you must understand, in life, all suffering comes from resistance. See, if you wanted life to go to the right, meaning you had all your goals and all your dreams and your hopes, but life went to the left. It went the complete other direction. See, it's not the fact that life went to the left that makes you suffer. Because as long as you accept that, as long as you are just content with it, as long as you flow with that, you will not suffer it. But as soon as you start to resist the way life unfolds, this is when the suffering starts. It is not because life goes to the left you're suffering. It's only because you're resisting the fact that it went that direction. And because you're resisting it, this is when the suffering starts. So all solution to suffering is acceptance. You got to learn how to accept. Acceptance does not mean, oh, I accept it, but I still feel bad about it. No, this is not what acceptance is. Acceptance is something that you can feel. When you accept something, you actually let it go automatically. So when something happened to you in the past, and you truly accept it from inside, you will see that that event that happened in the past, it will not hurt you anymore. You can think about it, but it will not hurt you. It is still there in your memory, but it will not hurt you. As long as it still hurts you, you have not accepted it. Because when acceptance comes, letting go will be an automatic result. But this is something that you must learn. But so to get back to where we started, these affirmations and telling yourself you're grateful of things, nothing wrong with them in general. but just do not do it in the moments you actually feel bad. When you feel bad and you start doing these things, you're only resisting the way you feel, and therefore this feeling will only maintain longer. No, just accept it first, recognize it, accept it, and then let it go. And then when you feel better, when you feel good, when you feel positive, then start to empower yourself by telling yourself you're grateful, because you actually feel grateful. When you actually feel grateful, then tell yourself you're grateful, because then it's empowering to yourself. When you feel well, then tell yourself, hey, everything in life is a learning experience. You know, I've been through bad stuff, but it's just a learning experience. You know, I've been to bad stuff, but hey, probably everything will happen for a reason, and one day I will see why this thing and that thing happened to me. But don't do this as a solution to feel better, because it will only make you feel worse, because fundamentally it is resistance. Do it when you already feel well, and then you will empower yourself. And that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.